In today's video, we are diving into the differences between a $500 website and a $5,000 website. My name's Cameron with Driven Media. Let's get into it. So first, if you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed this video. It helps us out and helps you be notified anytime there's new content available from us. And in this video, like I said at the beginning, the $500 versus $5,000 website. Now, there's some key differences between these. And the reason I'm showing you this video is I want to show you the differences that you get in terms of deliverables when it comes between these two price points. One thing I'd like to clarify, though, right at the beginning of the video here is the $5,000 number that's in the title here that I've mentioned a few times already is more of a price range. Typically, our lower end website packages go anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000. Most of them include a lot of the same services and a lot of the same deliverables, but it all depends on the scope of work. If we have a ton of content that we have to write, it's going to be a little bit on the higher end of that. If it's very little content or very little pages, etc., it's going to be on the lower end of that. So let's start with the $500 website. Typically, with a $500 website, you're going to find either a developer that is brand new and has very little website experience, or you're going to find someone out of India or Pakistan to do your website. Now, all things being equal, the Indian or Pakistani that is charging you $500 is typically going to do better than the newbie that's charging you $500. They have a little bit more experience. The website is probably going to end up working a little bit better, look a little bit nicer than someone that's just starting off. Now, you can find these types of services through like Fiverr, maybe Upwork. You can find price points all over the place for websites, but there's a few key differences here. First of all, your website, if you're doing the $500 one, is going to be built on one of the most popular platforms. It's probably going to be Wix or WordPress, maybe even Squarespace. And 99% of the time, the people putting together these websites are going to be giving you a template to use rather than a custom designed website. There's nothing wrong with templates. It's a very quick and easy way to put a website together, but there's not going to be any actual custom design work done on your website. They might match the fonts and the colors of your logo for the rest of the website and have some customization like that, but outside of that, you're not going to get any cool bells or whistles. Now, the problem with templates in our experience, especially on WordPress platforms, is they're oftentimes very bloated. It basically means that the website is going to perform very slow compared to if it was custom built. When you custom build a website, there's oftentimes way less bloat, there's less plugins involved, and the load time is significantly quicker. So with the $500 website, you're typically just going to tell the designer, here's what I want. I want a homepage, I want an about page, I want a contact page, and that's about it. And that's about the amount of planning that you're going to get on a website like this. And the other big note with the $500 website is content is typically up to you. So it's up to you to gather images and text for the website. Now, there's some big pitfalls of doing this yourself. Some people can do this really well themselves, but a lot of people can't. So typically, that's one of the big differences between the $500 versus $5,000 website is we're going to help you navigate the hurdles of your content. And I'll go more into that in just a second. So you've heard about the $500 website. What about the $5,000 website? So there's a few things here. First of all, it can either be on a template or it can be custom designed. It really depends on the scope of work. Some templates are just as necessary evil for some clients. Sometimes it's custom designed. I like doing custom design. It's usually a little bit more work on the front end, but it's a much better deliverable at the very end. And typically these websites can be built on any platform. This can be WordPress, Joomla, Webflow, Wix, Squarespace, just to name a few. Now, at this price point in particular, there's a huge difference because one thing that we're going to do at the beginning of every single project is we're going to have extensive planning that goes into this. Now, we're going to figure out who's your target audience, what's your offer, what problems do your audience, what do they face, and really just get an idea as to actually who you are and how you're helping. Now, the reason we do this is twofold. Number one, for content. We want to figure out the content that we need to create or that we need to get from you in order to have the website be coherent to your prospects. Now, another big piece of this is wireframe planning. We typically take a website map and we map out the entire journey that the user is going to have on your website. So that way, at the very beginning of the project, we already know what the end goal should be. We should know exactly what pages we need, what sections of content we need, and have a clear vision to the path to completing this website. Now, a big difference, I've touched on this quite a bit, is the content. Typically, content is included. So if you're not an A+ writer, don't worry, we take care of that for you, and it's really no problem at all. We're also able to help out with images if you don't have any. If you do have images, we're able to integrate those into the website pretty easily as well. Now, another big difference between the $500 versus the $5,000 website is how they go about managing edit requests. So typically during the website, at least for us, we have multiple stages of revision where we give you the website. Hey, is there any revisions that you need to make? And you're going to come back and say, yes, I would like to make these changes, or no, it looks good. Now, the difference is in how it's handled. So with us, we have tracking set up so that way when edits come up, nothing gets lost and we're able to take care of all of them before you get the next edition of the website. Someone that might be charging a lower price point might not have a system in place to handle these edits, which might mean extra time on your end making sure everything got taken care of the first time, and then being on their butt when it's not taken care of. Another big difference is the quality assurance process. With a website, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of bugs that can be involved with a website. It could be slow. The website could be slow. It could be not mobile friendly. There could be buttons that are broken. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a website. Now, even if you use a template versus custom design, these problems do come up. So we do an extensive quality assurance process to make sure that your website is working well on all devices, phone, tablet, desktop, as well as making sure that there's no bugs inside of the website as well. In addition, we want to make sure that the website is fast, secure, and going to perform well for your ideal prospects. Another big difference between the $500 versus the $5,000 website is tangible deadlines. We set deadlines for everything during our website process, so that way it's very rare that we go over schedule. Now, typically this means that an average project is going to go from anywhere between a month to 2.5 months, depending on how long the project is, how big the project is, etc. We ultimately put together all the deadlines beforehand so that way we can get your website live on time and you don't have to worry about anything falling behind schedule. And if something does fall behind schedule, we can normally catch back up fairly quick. Now, someone that may not have this type of experience, they might not know how to set those deadlines. They may not know how to manage client expectations and manage the client, period. And if you have someone that doesn't know how to manage a client, ultimately, deadlines can get pushed back further and further, and you don't know when your website is going to be launched. Now, another big thing that we do, not every design agency does this, but we put together documentation for you on how to modify your website in the future. So if you want to go in and you want to change photos, or you want to add a case study or add a blog post, you're able to do that yourself. You don't have to rely on us for future changes. So we put together a document at the end of every single project with your usernames, passwords, anything you need to know about the website, and how to do those tasks. So that way you don't have to rely on us every step of the way. So with that being said, in conclusion, there's really a few things that set the $500 versus the $5,000 website apart. First of all, the $500 website has very little planning involved, whereas the $5,000 website has much more extensive planning involved. Now, here's the other thing with copywriting. I wanted to mention this before the end of the video. Copywriting can be detrimental to the usability of your website. A lot of the biggest issues that we see on prospects' websites today is the way that their copy and their content are conveyed to the end consumer. There's typically two categories that this falls within. First is they give out too much information. Sometimes you don't need to give away all the trade secrets on your website. We've seen websites that are just stuffed with so much content that it ends up leaving the prospect with more questions than answers. And it makes it really tough for them to dive into that information and really figure out what it is that you actually offer. It's basically a brain dump of everything that business owner knows. The second category is you don't do enough content. This happens quite a bit as well, where you don't list your products and services, you don't list where you service, how you service, who you service, and once again, it makes it very easy for a prospect to go check out a competitor rather than staying on your website and going with you. By having someone on the outside doing your content, this allows a filter of sorts. You might know everything there is to know about your business. And while that is good, and while it's great that you're a subject matter expert, having someone on your side can help filter that information so that way the prospects get the exact answers that they need rather than a bunch of fluff or lack of fluff that they don't need. Now, another key difference is a $5,000 website is typically going to scale better as your company grows, where a $500 website, you're not guaranteed with that. So for example, one thing that we do on every single website, especially if it's a B2B heavy service, is we have a case study section that we build into the website. So that way, as you have more and more portfolio projects, as you have more case studies come up, you can go in and just add those in, and it's not going to break anything. It's going to dynamically update across your website when you have new case studies to post. Same thing with blogs, same thing with portfolio pages. So, and then the last thing is the $5,000 website is typically going to outperform the $500 website by every metric possible. That could be website speed, conversion rates, SEO rankings, you name it. Your website's going to be taken care of A to Z, where a $500 website, you're literally just paying for design. You're not paying for everything else that's included with a website, such as launching the website live onto the internet, optimizing it, making sure that your server is compatible with your website. And these are a lot of things that over the experience that we've had through the last 5 years, we can navigate these with absolute ease compared to other designers out there. It actually blows my mind how many designers I've talked to that don't know anything about website hosting in the first place, even though it's such a crucial element to a business website. Where is your website hosted? How is it hosted? How does this work? That's one thing that we make sure that everyone in our company is taught on is what does this host mean for this client, and is it going to impact them in any way on their website? We want to make sure that everyone has the best experience possible, both our customers and their prospective customers. Anyway, I hope that answers a few questions. Maybe I'll do a $500 website versus $10,000 website comparison video soon. But other than that, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. My name's Cameron with Driven Media. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see ya.